Only we could, Simeon.
Why can't we? We need only to be alone with that traitor. Then we finish him off.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email newsroom@kbc.co.ke, call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
Good afternoon, this is Lunchtime News. I trust you're having a lovely Wednesday so far. Well, we have a comprehensive bulletin lined up this afternoon. Some of the issues that we shall be taking a look at are matters politics, education, security, among others. My name is Jacky Wambiru. Our sign language interpreter is Ann Wangeshi. And to kick us off, a number of pupils have pulled out of schools in parts of Meru County due to the ongoing drought in the area. According to Tigania West Member of Parliament John Mutunga, the region has gone for 3 years without rain, and those suffering the most are school-going children.
According to Tigania West MP John Mutunga, the region has not received sufficient rainfall for 3 years, something that has threatened food security in the area. The situation, the legislator says, it also affects young girls who are being lured for sex in exchange of money. In one village alone.
Kwa wakati huu kuna kiangazi kali, na hiyo kiangazi imeathiri watu wengi. Mifugo wameathirika, wanafunzi wameathirika. Kwa wakati huu kuna wanafunzi hawaendi shule kwa sababu hawana chakula.
4 girls have been forced to drop out of school due to early pregnancies.
Watoto wa shule wameathirika. Hata walimu wengi wakuu wananipigia kuniambia sasa leo hii sijapata asilimia 20, asilimia 30 ya watoto hawajakuja shule.
As a result of the drought, students, especially those who have not paid up, have to scavenge from their colleagues for survival.
Wanafunzi wangeongea maneno ya wanafunzi ikiwa ya kwanza, ndio watoto wanaathirika sana. Sasa wangeangalia maneno ya shule, wawe wakipikiwa shule, alafu waangalie njaa ya huko. Meru inasemekana imeshiba, lakini sio Meru yote.
The residents want the government to include them in the ongoing cash transfer program.
Serikali pia tuwe tunaekeza kwa mpango ambao ni mpango mkamilifu, mpango ambao unasaidia watu.
Reporting for Lunchtime News, Karaya Itumbi.
In other news, a section of church leaders has commended the government's effort in bringing back normalcy in troubled Olmoran area of Laikipia County. The comments coming after the government dispatched more security personnel to the area after weeks of heightened tension and anxiety that has left at least 8 people dead, scores injured, houses torched, and hundreds of livestock stolen.
Speaking at Olmoran Catholic Church, where most of the victims of the recent flare-ups have been camping, PCA moderator of the General Assembly Reverend Thegu Mutahi and Olmoran Catholic Church parish priest Father James Giashomo said security was paramount in the area, adding that peace will finally reign.
Indeed, this is what we need mostly. That the intervention is effective and people are granted their right to conduct their activities, to go back to their farms, to go on with their daily activities and lives without worrying about staying at their own place.
The duo is also urging the government to give the displaced persons time to return to their homes, since most of them are traumatized.
Quite a number of people are still allowed, although a few have gone back to their homes. So we thank the government for the intervention, and we hope that sooner than later, those who are still displaced will find their way back to their homes. Of course, they need a lot of reassurance because they have gone through trauma, and therefore it will not be kind to push them to go home.
And as the clergy called for coexistence among the local communities, about 10 schools among the 16 that had been closed in Laikipia West following a wave of insecurity have resumed, though with minimal learners. However, the remaining 6 are yet to be opened, mostly those in the zones of Nagum, Ndemumbili, Kanjul, Mirigwit, Miharati and Ndonyo Loip. Laikipia Governor Nderito Murithi, calling on parents to take their children back to school, said security situation has improved.
Ningependa niwaeleze askari wa usalama wako wengi dunia hii. Wako wengi sana askari wa usalama. Asante sana. Na mkiwaona wakipita wakifanya patrol, kazi yao ni kulinda sisi yote.
At Nagum Primary School, where 2 people were killed and a lorry torched, there were no signs of residents, many having fled for fear of the security operations. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I'm Amboy Otiende.
Meanwhile, Kilifi County government has commissioned 3 water projects at a cost of 20 million shillings in Magarini to help the locals access water easily. Over 6,800 people are set to benefit from the 3 water projects in the area, which has been affected by the current drought.
The water projects unveiled by Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi together with his deputy Gideon Saburi in Magarini and Masheheni Mbaoni Mwangatini will serve a population of 3,500 people. Misifuni Baungo to cater for 1,500 people, and Marekebuni Bomani will be accessed by 1,800 people. Residents interviewed say they are hopeful the water sources will ease effects caused by drought in the area. Kilifi County CEC for Water, Sanitation and Environment Mwachitu Kiringi noted that during the drought season, many seasonal rivers and water ponds have dried, leaving residents in a dilemma.
Tukiwa katika wakati wa kiangazi, kumaanisha kwamba maji katika mabwawa hayapatikani na baadhi ya ile mito ambayo ni ya muda pia maji hayapatikani. Hii inamaanisha kwamba binadamu na mifugo wote wanategemea maji yanayotembea kwa mabomba. Na hivi basi inalazimu ya kwamba ni kumaanisha tayari kwamba yale maji ambayo yanatembea hayastosheleza wananchi.
The water pipeline was tapped from Sabaki River that is about 5 kilometers away, enabling residents to access piped water for the first time since independence.
This water pipeline was tapped from Sabaki, which is around 5 kilometers, and the residents who had never accessed water, piped water, have now accessed piped water. The number of residents who are currently being served by this pipeline is about 7,000 people, about 600 households. And you'll notice that this is a big plus towards making sure that we have access to clean water to our residents in Kilifi County.
And in the political arena, Kiambu Governor James Nyoro wants members seeking to contest the gubernatorial seats in Senate barred from grilling sitting governors. Nyoro singled out Senator Kimani Wamatangi, who has publicly announced his intention to run for the seat of governor, saying he is using a Senate to advance his political agenda.
It is the line of questioning used by Senator Kimani Wamatangi during the grilling of Kiambu Governor James Nyoro that has rubbed some local leaders the wrong way. The group calling on Senate leadership to bar senators who are interested to run for governor's seat in their respective counties, saying such governors should appear before the Senate.
And you're together kuuliza Senate. And I'm being very serious on this issue. Kama mtu ako na haja ya kuwa governor, hatakiwi kuwa kwa hiyo kamati. Anatakuwa kuwa nje ili hiyo kamati iangalie maneno ambao inatakikana.
And finally, AIPCA Church has banned politicians advancing their political agenda in their churches.
Kwa hivyo kutokea siku ya leo tumepiga marufuku wanasiasa wowote kuongea hapa mbele ya madhabahu.
And on matters health, the government, through the Ministry of Health, has started a surveillance exercise of elephantiasis prevalence in the coast region. The exercise is to investigate new cases and confirm the success of the drugs taken by those who had elephantiasis in the last 5 years.
Officials from the Ministry of Health are targeting school-going children in Kilifi, Mombasa, Lamu, Tana River and Taita Taveta counties in an ongoing campaign that seeks to test and treat new cases of elephantiasis in the coast region. Speaking during a testing exercise at Ziwani Vango Primary School in Madogo, entomological lab technologist Kanyi Gitonga said the initiative is a follow-up on the government's massive door-to-door elephantiasis treatment campaign at the coastal region conducted in November 2018 with a hope to break transmission or end the disease by 2020.
Ndio tuko hapa kwa sasa tuweze kujua kiwango cha ugonjwa kimeisha baada ya kunywa madawa kwa miaka hiyo 5 ama kukoje. Kwa hivyo kama mtu anaweza kuwa kuna ugonjwa, dawa zipo kwa sub county zote wako na madawa na hospitali ziko na madawa.
Gitonga urged the residents to seek treatment and to sleep under insecticide-treated mosquito nets in order to prevent transmission of the disease that is spread through the Culex, the Anopheles and the Aedes mosquitoes.
Kama watu wataendelea kunywa madawa na wafuate maagizo ya Wizara ya Afya vile wanaambiwa.
For Lunchtime News, I'm Nisi Imano Okoth.
In other news, a section of matatu operators halted transport at Kitul town for the better part of Tuesday following unending wrangles among two matatu SACCOs, which were once transport partners. The dispute between Kinatwa SACCO and Kinatwa Prestige began a month ago when the two public transport operators began competing against each other. A section of Boda Boda operators expressed concerns over the simmering row, saying it is negatively impacting the transport sector in the region.
Barabara za mji wa Kitui zimefungwa juu ya furugu ambazo zimetokana na mzozano wa sako za magari ambayo inafanya uchukuzi hapa kwa main stage ya Kitui. Sako ya Kinatwa na ile ingine ya Kinatwa Prestige. Sisi tumeadhiriwa sana na ili jambo, manake kuna baadhi ya stage zetu ambazo zinafanyia kazi ya uchukuzi hapa kwa main stage. Na hivi tunavyoongea hawa majamaa wangu hawako kazi.
Mimi niko na hasira sababu sioni ni kwa nini barabara imefungwa. Hakuna mahali hata gari yoyote inaweza bebea hapa kwa uwanja. Uwanja umefungwa wote.
Meanwhile, leaders and professionals from Siaya County have commenced a mobilization exercise to have young people who have attained the age of 18 years acquire identity and register as voters. The two groups are in agreement that it is high time both elected and aspiring politicians support the initiative dubbed Kipande Drive that will run for 5 months to increase the number of voters in Siaya.
We want to have a Kipande Drive in the next 5 or 6 months. And after the Kipande Drive, we will have the voter registration drive so that we can increase the number of votes that we will be able to put on the basket as a county. Let's hope that all of you will join us in Kipande Drive and in the voter registration drive.
We are aware of the projection that was given by IBC to the extent that those who have not taken the IDs, who have not registered in Siaya, is about 126,000. It has been agreed that we assist them to provide mobile registration to young people in schools, in sports, sporting activities, in churches.
Over 21,000 residents of Mandera County have been registered for the National Hospital Insurance Fund to facilitate access to health services for free. NHIF is expected to set up offices in all 6 sub-counties to support the ongoing biometric registration.
Special interest groups who include underappreciated, elderly, and persons living with disability are being targeted in the ongoing National Hospital Insurance Fund biometric registration in Mandera County.
Kwa hivyo kulingana na population ya sub-county ndio watu wameallocatiwa, japokuwa watu vulnerable wako wengi, but the most vulnerable were identified.
Mandera County Governor Ali Roba says the county government is committed to improving health service delivery in the region, including upgrading infrastructure and increasing medical personnel.
Mandera County government have been providing free healthcare services across all primary health facilities, numbering 91, out of which 19 are health centers and 72 are dispensaries.
Mandera East Deputy County Commissioner Solomon Cheboton called on the residents to embrace the NHIF medical cover.
Tunapoanzisha hii registration leo ya biometric registration, itasaidia sana familia nyingi kujikimu katika upande wa masuala ya kupata matibabu. Na ni jukumu letu sisi zote tuungane mkono kama serikali kuu na serikali ya county katika kuhakikisha kuwa hii mradi ambayo inasinduliwa leo.
NHIF says it will set up satellite offices in Mandera East, Lafay, Mandera West, Mandera South, Mandera Central, and Banisa.
Well, that report brings us to our first break here on Lunchtime News. Up next, we'll have the live interview whereby William Kamore, who is the content manager LT Kenya, will be giving us details of the electronic trends in the country currently. Now, we'll take that break. Don't go too far.
Usitegemee kupata jino lenye afya kwenye mdomo uliooza. Usikubali kupokea zawadi ya nguo kutoka kwa mtu aliyeuchi. Mapenzi ni kufaana, nifae ni kufae. Hisani ni njia mbili, nipe nikupe. Ila ni muhimu kufahamu kuwa sio binadamu wote watakushukuru hata watendeapo mema. Ukitaka thawabu kutoka mbinguni, we tenda wema tu, uondoke.
Ili kupata skiza tune ya pumzi ya busara, bonyeza star 811 star 815 hash. Bonyeza star 811 star 815 hash.
You don't know the pain I feel knowing that you, my mother, the woman who I admire the most, lied to me.
Did you bring the letter?
Did you bring the money?
Because you may fool my father, and you may fool my sisters. But with me, I'm telling you that you cannot. He's the new veterinarian, Dr. Alejandro San Roman. He's helping us now with everything. Where have I heard that familiar surname?
Will you marry me?
Taking over the city, all the girls them call them boys. Tell them that me I'm ready for party.
Take no blame if you not play no game that's not right. Mr. Stop Light, no say you not stop it and no stop black traffic and I act like Mr. Stop Light. Michelle and Simone put him in a friend zone.
There is this new product I am selling. Would you be interested?
What product?
Mind your business. It works wonders and it is good for human consumption.
Lucy is a cow. Okay, I've had enough for the day.
You bought a cow in Nairobi and you are all living in rentals.
Today you look very different and bombastic. Kwani, are you going for an interview?
I learned indeed and I passed with flying colors.
Oh, here we go again. Can't you guys keep private? This was private. You are just tap to anyone you think would listen.
Unaona Dim?
Yes, mawiti yani unasikia ni kama uko hai.
Ni kama ndio.
Unasikia fiti.
Hii ni mali yangu, safi, alafu inaenda jail huko.
Mali yako?
Unconditional baby.
Baby sikufanya kitu alafu sikuwa najua. Ati nasikia nini?
Nini ame? Unamsikiza huyu?
Sasa na wewe unaongea namna gani kama ujui hii story? Unakaa namna gani Lakini madhali ile tabia unafanya si mutuli, unafaa kuwa Lady Mbianka.
Joseph, the exalted one.
Do you think you were given that gift?
What gift?
Does God really want to reveal the future to you in your dreams, brother?
Rachel! Rachel, my sister! Forgive me.
Joseph has blinded our father and stole your rightful place beside him. We must get rid of him at once.
If only we could, Simeon.
Why can't we? We need only to be alone with that traitor. Then we finish him off.
See the venom dripping out? Yeah.
Unbelievable.
This week on Zurura, we go 3 degrees south of the equator for action-packed water sports. Explore one of East Africa's largest assembly plants and learn a thing or two about venomous reptiles.
Oh, wow.
Excited to see the milking? That's coming right up on Zurura. Find your adventure.
Welcome back. Now let's proceed. In the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, disruptive technologies have been on the horizon, and these trends have been driving the need for digital transformation as they enable businesses to deliver superior, more connected, seamless and positive customer and employee experiences. The advancement of digital technologies has put pressure on Kenyan enterprises to align themselves with emerging electronic trends. Now, to help us understand more on this topic, we are joined by William Kamore, who is LG Kenya's content manager, to deliberate more on this. Well, welcome, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, maybe you begin by telling us
Yes.
what new trends have emerged since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic in terms of uptake of electronics.
In electronics. Okay. You see, since I think from last year, when the pandemic hit, there was actually a global shift in terms of how people are purchasing power of people, how they spend on what they spend on electronics, and also not forgetting even, we usually think of most of our normal consumers like our parents and stuff. But there has also been an uptick, especially in millennials, on the uptick of electronics. So things like augmented reality or virtual reality that most people hadn't heard of are becoming a thing now that most people are inquiring of, especially in how electronics appliances or home appliances or entertainment, they can be able to take you to another level, or how it can improve your lifestyle.
Yeah, when you talk about maybe consumer electronics on demand, maybe which electronics have experienced quite an upsurge in demand? Maybe you pinpoint that first.
Yes, so in demand, mostly we've experienced a lot of smart products, or like higher level products, let's say from like TVs or washing machines. Gone are the times that most people are looking for just basic electronics, like I want a TV, I want a fridge, I want a washing machine. Nowadays, consumers, they even tell you something more. They tell you, I want a TV which does this and this, I want a fridge that can be able to do this, or a washing machine that can do this. So it shows that most people have become more knowledgeable in terms of the electronics they want, the technology behind it, and also how best it can be useful to you as the end user.
So does the change in demand point maybe to a growing middle class, or maybe what's your opinion on this?
Well, on my opinion, let me just say my personal opinion. You find that it would be hard, but what you can say is there has been a shift in, let's say, the class levels, like let's say lower class all the way to like about mid, and then also an upsurge in like high-end level consumers, or most people looking for premium products. So there has been an increase, especially in the premium field, or what we call high class individuals, which there are not that many in Kenya, but the middle class is starting to move a notch higher a bit.
Well, when we take a look at the TV market segment, maybe what has been the evolution?
Oh wow! Well, so TV is one of the things that has moved on quite a bit in this day and age, because I'm sure you can agree that growing up, when we had our normal like CRT TVs, or you call them CRT, or the ones that had the big stomach, most people used to say, but now we have moved on to much more advanced screens or advanced displays. Like LG is known to be having the first OLED display, and these TVs are doing very good in the Kenyan market and also globally. And like I said, this new studios you have in KBC, and I've seen the TVs you guys have. I'm sure you can attest that also the TVs has grown. So TVs has evolved much, with now most people uptaking now more advanced technology.
As we still take a look at TV matches, how is the TV screen size and clarity influencing consumer choices?
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, I told you, like nowadays consumers, when they're going to buy something like for a TV, so someone will not just say I want a TV. Like now most people are concerned about the size. So one will be yes, I'm looking for a bigger size, like I want a 55-inch, I had a 32-inch, I had like a 43-inch. So what inches or what screen size do you have? And again, you find consumers have more information nowadays at their fingertips. On mobile, they can be able to regress or tell you much more on the resolution they want. So they will tell you, I want a TV that has this and this technology behind it, and so and so. So that has led to brands having to improve to be able to catch up with these new consumers. Yeah.
So you talked about washing machines earlier. Maybe you've seen that in the country there have been the sprouting of laundromats in various areas in urban centers. How has this impacted your department in washing machines?
In washing machines. In terms of most of the time or years before, you are able not to get most consumers aware of washing machines. So what used to happen is, and also last year, you see, after the pandemic, most people shifted in, let's say, having someone else to do your laundry. So we had an increase in laundromats, which also it's actually a very nice investment scheme to talk about, and I'm sure you'll invite me next time, maybe talk about laundromats. But it has given people, has made people much more aware that you can have a washing machine to try and help you in your laundry, but still also looking up at the laundromat business.
As we wind up, maybe you tell us, in your own view, what is likely to impact the chip shortage on innovation and the prices of electronics?
Yes, actually, on that matters, you find that sometime this year, from like mid this year, we've had a global shortage in terms of the chips being used in most electronics, and it has affected major brands or all brands when it comes to the products that they are producing. So that means if it's not well regulated, but what I can say is that LG is able to check on its timelines and also check on the consumer purchase journey to ensure that this shortage does not impact at the end user, because you find what happens at the end is, now if there is a shortage, it will mean now prices might increase for the other products that may be coming in. So it's high time also we be able to try and see how we can balance this situation, because it does happen sometimes globally. Yeah.
Maybe tell us, how is the future looking in terms of electronics from what you haven't been able to witness so far?
Yes, so in terms of the future, what we're looking forward into is, I told you, a lot of businesses will try and integrate on how best they can be able to give electronics products, and also other kinds of businesses or other ventures that can be able to line up with the growing consumers and also keep up with the millennials, because they are impacting much, and that also most people nowadays have information. So for consumers, I would say it's up to them to take due diligence on the kind of electronics that they do purchase.
Do you have any other final remarks as you wind up?
What I can say is, I'll just say to the end users and consumers is that ensure when you are purchasing a product, one thing is just ensure that it is genuine, that you can be able to get authorized service dealers or service centers close to you, and get much information as possible before you invest in any electronic appliance you might be looking into it.
Well, thank you so much. Well, there you have it. As we wind up our interview segment, that was William Kamore, who is the content manager at LG Kenya. Thank you so much, sir, for gracing us with your presence.
Thank you.
Now we move on. Over 20 families who had no permanent shelter are now living a decent life after a philanthropist came to their rescue. Makeo Foundation, a local charitable organization, has built permanent houses for the families in Yatta and Mwala in Machakos who have been living in mud structures. Let's take a look.
For years now, Anne Mwikali, a mother of 8, has been living in a one-room grass-thatched mud house which used to leak whenever it rained. She could not afford to sleep during the rainy season. But with the change of tidings now, and with a new 4-roomed house, she can now afford a decent living thanks to the Makeo Foundation.
Matope, alafu saa hii kuna nyumba nimepata, Mama Makewa akanisaidia akanijengea nyumba, saa hii nimelala salama.
The noble gesture is replicated in more than 20 households in Yatta and Mwala. The foundation works in 5 counties and majors in eradicating poverty, mostly to the starving and needy people in the society. According to Father Makewa, the foundation has also constructed 25 permanent houses to shelter orphan children.
Tunafanya mambo mane. Kwanza, drunk addicts and rehabilitation. Youth and women empowerment. Poverty eradication and education of orphans and care.
Now, over 9,000 households and 10 learning institutions in Nyakach sub-county, Kisumu County have benefited from 7 water projects and 2 early childhood education classrooms. The projects, constructed by World Vision, have already been handed over to the county government of Kisumu.
9,000 households in the Kitul area in Nyakach sub-county, Kisumu County, will now enjoy uninterrupted supply of clean and safe water after World Vision handed over 7 water projects constructed at a cost of 81 million shillings. Kisumu Deputy Governor Dr. Matthew Owili, while receiving the projects, lauded the gesture, noting the water projects will reinforce efforts by the county government, whose water supply in the county currently stands at 56%.
Now, budgets, as you all know, not just for county government, even for national, it's always an issue. And so partnerships such as this one really, as you say, is a big shot in the arm.
The status update on water availability in schools, we are standing at close to 70% because we are encouraging water harvesting and storage.
Another 2 ECD classrooms constructed at 2.9 million shillings were also handed over to the county government.
The purpose of this is to improve the learning environment and condition for our preschoolers in those particular communities. And as we speak currently, we have over 150 children who are currently using those particular classrooms.
World Vision Kisumu manager Jeremiah Orongo adding that an ablution block constructed at 1.9 million shillings will improve sanitation in Kitul town and assist in the fight against COVID-19. Wycliffe Okech for Lunchtime News.
Mavoko Member of Parliament Patrick Makau is urging the Ministry of Education to level the playing field when it comes to access to information communication technology in public schools, even as it seeks implementation of the competence-based curriculum. According to Makau, the recent directive by Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha that schools introduce a use of projectors to replace chalkboards and other printable materials mean the cost will be cascaded down to parents. Well, we are getting a report that we shall be bringing you that report later. For now, we move on. Private facilities will now begin administering privately procured COVID-19 jabs to Kenyans free of charge in an effort by the government to increase its vaccination points nationwide and capture more people. The Ministry of Health, through the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, KEPSA, is also set to supply private companies willing to have the staff vaccinated with the jabs at affordable costs. Purity Museo has more details.
We do intend to conduct the vaccination in the private sector in phases. We've just commenced on the first phase. As Carol has shared, we have good reception, good numbers coming in. We are optimistic that we'll be able to hit our targets. Largely in terms of the national vaccine program, right now we're actually anticipating to receive Pfizer vaccines within this week to next week. We should be having the Pfizer vaccine in the country, and we're also anticipating to receive the Sinopharm vaccine again in the coming week or two. And so really in terms of stocks, we are happy. We should be able to meet our target that we've shared with you of 10 million doses by December.
We've always partnered with government in many initiatives. You've been with us when we worked in a lot of initiatives last year, and some of the initiatives that we are doing this year, some started last year, like Wheels of Life, that we've continued to do for the pregnant women who need to access health facilities in the night, telehealth medicine that we've also been doing, the e-commerce program with the small businesses to get them into the online platforms, and of course the loans for the SMEs that we've been doing with MasterCard Foundation, and the Ajira program with about 1.2 million young people who are already employed in the digital and digital jobs.
And in the business world, potato farmers in Nyandarua County are calling on the government to consider buying the farm produce from the area for distribution to Kenyans facing hunger. The farmers say the recently introduced Irish potato regulations of 2019 has seen traders and transporters avoiding to buy the farm produce that is now rotting in farms.
Kuna sheria imesimama ya kwamba viazi zishonwe zile dogo. Kukakuwa na shida juu wale wanunuzi hawakuji. Juu zenye wanashona dogo hata hao hatuwaoni, na zenye zilikuwa zinashonwa hizo kubwa hata hao hatuwaoni. Juu sasa marodi haiwezi kaingia juu ya ile wamewekewa mikakati ambao wanaona ni shida kwao, inakuwa ni hasara kwao.
Tungewaomba either watuletee wenye wataweza kununua hizo viazi na bei nafuu. Hiyo walikuwa nasema kilo 50, la si hivyo wapunguze, warudishe tu vile tulikuwa hapo awali, kwa sababu hapo awali sisi hatukuwa tunataabika.
Viazi sasa tuliweka kwa store, nikachuna kama magunia 12, na sasa sijaona mnunuzi wa hizo viazi. Sasa zimeanza kutoa nguo, zimeanza kumea. Sasa nazijua nitazipeleka wapi?
The decision by Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari's government to suspend Twitter in Africa's most populous country in June continues to deal a massive blow to its revenue ambitions. The country has lost over $600 million in revenue in the past 100 days. Here are the details of these and other news from across the continent.
According to NetBlock's cost of shutdown tools, the Twitter ban costs Nigeria's economy $250,600 every hour. Due to this, many small businesses have also collapsed, and there are huge job losses in the country, especially in the e-commerce sector. Recently, the Nigerian presidency raised hopes of lifting the ban after the Minister of Information and Culture revealed that they had reached an agreement with the social media company on a number of issues. Elsewhere, Uganda's biggest telecoms firm, a unit of South Africa's MTN Group, has launched the East African country's first mobile phone-based stock trading platform. MTN Uganda has a subscriber base of about 15 million and also offers mobile financial services. Users will access the shares trading services, which is offered in partnership with Uganda Securities Exchange through the financial platform. MTN Uganda customers will be able to open securities accounts, buy and sell shares, as well as transfer cash to stockbrokers straight from their mobile wallet. Uganda Stock Exchange, which has 38,000 investors trading 17 stocks, expects the new mobile trading platform to attract more investors. Finally, inflation in Sudan decreased for the first time under its 2-year-old transitional government, as the currency shows signs of stabilizing following a year of tough economic reforms. Inflation slowed sharply from 423% in July to 388% in August, ending a trend of steep monthly increases that have brought inflation to a level not seen in decades. Sudan is in the midst of a deep economic crisis, with low reserves often creating shortages of fuel, bread, and essential medicines. The Sudanese currency has stabilized on the official and parallel markets to a rate of about 450 Sudan pounds per dollar. To attract investment, the Sudanese government underwent IMF-monitored economic reforms, including the removal of fuel subsidies and devaluation of the currency in February. Reporting for Lunchtime News, my name is Hibak Said.
For more than 1 billion iPhone enthusiasts around the world, no product unveiling is more anticipated than Apple Inc.'s annual reveal of its newest lineup of smartphones. Apple has introduced 4 iPhone 13 models with some minor enhancements, including a faster processor, better camera, longer battery life, and nicer displays. Here are the details of these and other stories in our business roundup.
The new iPhone models are similar in design to 2020's phones, other than a smaller notch for the front-facing camera on top of the screen, and they start at the same price points. The 2 Pro phones will also have a higher quality video recording feature and a smoother scrolling display that updates more frequently, along with the ability to expand storage to 1 terabyte, double the capacity of the biggest option last year. The new iPhone 13, which can film portrait mode videos with a depth of field effect, lets users edit this effect after shooting. After last year's big 5G upgrade, the incremental nature of this year's improvements may be a letdown to some and offer little incentive to upgrade. Meanwhile, Australian graphic design business Canva has become one of the world's biggest privately owned companies after being valued at $40 billion. The online design platform said it had grown during the pandemic as more customers worked from home. Canva provides design templates for people to make everything from greeting cards to posters, resumes, and calendars. The firm, which was founded in Sydney in 2013, revealed a fresh $200 million round of private equity investment, which makes it one of the world's most valuable startups. Finally, Greater Bay Airlines, a newly launched Hong Kong-based carrier, hopes to start operations in late October or early November after it obtained regulatory approval and the license necessary to operate passenger flights. The airline plans to apply the permit to fly to Beijing Capital International Airport as its inaugural flight from Hong Kong to the Chinese mainland. In the 4th quarter of this year, the airline will also begin international operations from Hong Kong to Singapore, Bangkok, and the resort of Phuket in Thailand. The airline targets to fly more than 40 cities in the Chinese mainland, including Beijing, Shanghai, and some smaller cities.
Meanwhile, tourism operators say the latest fuel price hikes will significantly increase the price of tourism products and could derail recovery efforts. The Kenya Association of Hotel Keepers say the increase will see tourists prefer neighboring countries over Kenya, where tourism products and energy are subsidized.
Kenya risks losing its tourism competitive advantage to neighboring countries due to the high cost of fuel. Stakeholders in the hospitality industry say the high cost of fuel could see an increase in both air and road transport and any additional cost to be passed to the tourists.
Our value chain is very dependent on transport. So whether it's the cost of an air ticket, whether it's the cost of delivering cabbages to your hotel, whether it's the cost of transporting that guest from here to the safari circuit, so the impact will be very huge.
The tourism operators are concerned that neighboring countries have subsidized tourism products and energy, making their tourism products cheaper.
It's a fair system, given that when we look at other countries that compete for the same tourists that we compete for, the costs are fairly lower, probably even as much as 40% lower.
The tourism operators are challenging EAC member states to drive up COVID-19 vaccinations to build confidence among international tourists.
Go in and register and get vaccinated. It is the only safest bet for you as an individual, for us as a country, for us as a region, to protect our businesses, to protect ourselves.
Tourist arrivals have declined from 7 million in 2019 to the current 2 million, costing EAC over 400 billion shillings in revenue. Benson Rioba reporting for Lunchtime News.
And now in the sports arena, Kariobangi Sharks striker Eric Kapaito has said he has dreams of joining other top-tier football clubs and might exit the Sharks if a good deal comes along his way. Kapaito made the sentiments after winning the most valuable player of 2020-2021 Football Kenya Federation FKF Premier League in awards gala that was held last night.
Ladies and gentlemen, Player of the Year MVP, Eric Kapaito.
Eric Kapaito, who had a scintillating season, winning the Golden Boot and scoring 24 goals in the FKF Premier League, scooped the Most Valuable Player award for the 2020-2021 season. The 25-year-old striker who won the MVP award for the 2017-2018 season beat Sofapaka midfielder Lawrence Juma and FC Leopards striker Elvis Rupia to the award. Kapaito confirmed that football agents have been eyeing him and is ready for greener pastures.
And tunaangalia tuone itakuwaje. I believe team wako na wase wenye wanaongea na wao na naomba tu Mungu kozio ndio dream pia kutoka nje kucheza ball. So in the next maybe 1 week tuseme 1 week hivi.
Chelsea, Juventus and Bayern Munich registered wins. Manchester United suffered a shock defeat at Young Boys, while Villarreal, Sevilla and
in from Lewandowski. Here's Gnabry. Oh, cushion finish. That would have been a brilliant goal. Lewandowski, so cool. Lewandowski.
There's Sibachu with a chance. Oh, what a gift! What a gift! And Jordan Sibachu!
Here in the Estadio de la Ceramica, and they have been rewarded.
8 more matches will be played tonight with PSG, Manchester City, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Liverpool and Borussia Dortmund all in action. Hassan Ali Hussein, Lunchtime News, Sports.
Rakitic for 1-1.
Well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin this afternoon. Thank you for choosing Lunchtime News. For more news, check out our website at kbc.co.ke. My name is Jacky Wambiru. Sign language interpreter is Anu Wangeshi.